I'm going to launch into some of the stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. And you see in these animals what traits we share or what the story is trying to teach you. Is the story of Jumping Mouse. And there's a very long Lakota version of this. However, I am going to tell the Anishinaabe or the Ojibwe Chippewa version of this. Long, long ago, before the animals were even organized into groups and clans, they were just sort of wandering around Mother Earth, surviving on their own. They hadn't formed their own clans and communities yet. And there was a little tiny mouse, and she knew that predators could eat her up or do her harm. So she was cautious about how she crept along in the tall grasses. And think how tall those grasses must have been. No golf courses or mowed lawns then, just the way the grasses were made. And so one day she was looking for little bits and pieces to sustain herself. And she was creeping along and she heard a terrible weeping. And she knew this was a much bigger animal than herself, but she was curious. So she crept and kind of pushed the grass aside. And she saw this beautiful wolf who was really overcome with tears. She knew a wolf could, you know, gobble her up in one bite. But her curiosity and her faith in the creator who made her was so strong. She cried out, "Hey, wolf, what's wrong?" I was supposed to go find the lake where all the teachings of the animals are, and I slipped on a cliff and now I cannot see. Oh! She crept closer and said, "Well, what is this journey you're supposed to go on, Wolf?" "I'm supposed to find the lake where all the teachings for the animals are so that they can live in a really good way on Mother Earth." Little Mouse thought about this. Generous big heart on such a small being. "Wolf, I'll give you my eyes," she said. "That's a noble journey." "Oh, what? You do that for me? Oh. And she gave him her eyes, and he could see. Maybe not quite as sharply as he once did, but he could see. But now what will you do? You have to come with me." "Well, all right," said the mouse. "Grab my leg and crawl up the fur and attach yourself to my neck." And so they started off together, Tiny Mouse and Big Beautiful Wolf. And they trotted through the forest, this pristine, beautiful forest. And the first thing they encountered, dusk was upon them, was an owl. "Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo." "Oh," said Mouse, "I think that's an owl, and they're supposed to be very, very wise. I'll ask if she knows the way to the lake with the animal teachings." And so a wolf called up, "Owl, owl, can you please help us?" "Who are you? Who are you to ask anything
Of me.
Well, well, we know you have wisdom. Perhaps you know where the lake of all the teachings of the animals is.
Who do you think you are to ask me?
Wolf and Mouse became discouraged and went on their way until they found a hollow log they could sleep under until morning. When the sunlight came out at dawn, they trotted more deeply into the woods and they heard the sound of water rushing and they heard laughter. And they encountered a family of otters. Come on in the water and play with us. It's so wonderful. There's plenty of room. We don't mind sharing. Come on in. We'd love to have somebody to slide down the mud and play with us and roll over in the water and have a wonderful time because this is what we love to do. Thank you very much, said Wolf. But we're looking for the lake where all the teachings of the animals are. You live in water, perhaps you know. Well, we don't know. We just kind of hang out here, and our family has everything we need here. But if we knew, we'd tell you, and we wish we could help you. But are you sure you don't want to come in the water and play with us? Thank you very much, otters, but not today. We're going to go further. And so they went further and further, and the stream widened into a mighty river with very vast currents in it. Hmm, said Wolf. I'm a good swimmer, but I don't know. This looks pretty difficult. Well, well, what are we going to do? Said Mouse. We've got to go across. We've gone as far as we can here. By that, a great sturgeon leapt out of the water. Don't cross this. You won't make it. It's really hectic current here. I can live with it. You couldn't. You need to go downstream a long ways until you see a stand of white birch trees. The water is less difficult there. I think you could cross over there. Thank you, said Wolf. Thank you, said Mouse. And so they trotted along the riverbank until they saw a stand of white birches. I think I can swim across here. Hold on to me tight, grip with all your might. And so Wolf dove in the water and went across. And they made it to the other side. Get down, I need to shake myself, said Wolf, and he shook the water off his coat. And Mouse could feel like rain falling on her. Well, let's see who we can ask next. I was sort of hoping that this river would end up in a lake, but it doesn't look that way, said Wolf. And so they trotted along and trotted along until they came to a beautiful grassy meadow. And in this meadow was a great big bull moose chewing on the grass. This is good. I got everything I need here. I got water. I got food. I'm a lucky person. I got everything I need here. Mr. Moose, said Wolf, we're looking for the lake with all the animal teachings. Can you tell us where that is? Nope. Don't go too far. Got everything I need here. Not really interested in the teachings for the other animals. Munch, munch, munch. Thank you very much, said Wolf. It wasn't very helpful, said Mouse. Now looming in front of them was a great mountain. I think we have to climb that great mountain, said Wolf. Hang on. It's going to get tougher going up there. There's not a lot of vegetation at the top. And so they began to climb the great mountain. And it was warm, and the air got thinner the higher they climbed. They'd climbed a long time, and the sun was starting to set, and they heard a terrible sound. There was a mountain lion licking his chops and started to chase them. Wolf is fast, but so is a mountain lion. And so they ran and ran higher up into the rocks. I don't know how much longer I can outrun him. And then Wolf saw a cave. But he didn't know what could be in that cave. But the mountain lion was gaining on him. So they took a chance and went in the cave, and some bats flew out, but they didn't really bother anybody. So they crouched in that cave and went as far back in, fearful that the mountain lion might come in after them. But he paced up and down outside, licking his chops. Finally, exhausted, Wolf and Mouse fell asleep. But it was a restless sleep. At dawn, Wolf went to the edge and looked out, but he didn't see Cougar. We have to go now, he said. I don't know where he is, but he'll come back. And so they began to run to the top of the mountain. And when I looked over the side, there was the most beautiful lake I had ever seen. I wonder if we've reached the lake where are the teachings of the animals. And here came a flock of geese. Honk, 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 showing them the way to go down to the lake. And a voice said, your journey is complete. Now you will learn all the things so that the animals can live together and have an order to what they do. And they stayed there for a good long while. But then Wolf had to go back to start teaching all the other animals the things they would know, how to live in communities together, who could have which places to live, who would be a predator to the other animals, who would be meek and mild, who would run from enemies, who would stand and face enemies. And he said to Mouse, we must go back now. We have accomplished what we came here for. But Mouse said, I'm not going back. I'm going to stay here. No, no, said Wolf. You can't stay here. You can't see. How will you fend for yourself? I can't leave you here. You gave up your sight for me. We've traveled in this journey together. I can't leave you here by yourself. You have to go back, said Mouse. You've accomplished what you came for. I have trust in the great Creator. It will be all right. Wolf stayed for days trying to persuade her to come with him. But finally he knew he must go and leave her behind. With tears in his eye, he started his journey back. And little Mouse stood there, not knowing quite where the water in the lake was, not knowing quite what she was going to do, but believing that there was a higher being that would take care of her. voice said, "Little mouse, jump." And she jumped. "Little mouse, jump higher." And she jumped. "Little mouse, jump higher yet." And she jumped as far up the ground as she could. And as she did, she felt wings and her sight returned, and she could see everything around her. She could fly. "Ha ha ha, you believed," said the voice. "Now you will be the mighty eagle. You will take the prayers of the two-legged people up, and you will see everything with justice. You will be the guardian of justice and have eagle vision." Story finished. So I'm sure if you think about the different personalities of the different animals were encountered, you can relate that to humans as well. One who had knowledge but didn't want to share it and was kind of arrogant about it. The moose who was indifferent. The sturgeon who helped but didn't go totally all the way. So you see, there are lessons in these little legends and stories.